Hey Backyard Kombi fans, the steering on the Raven is dangerously flawed. I mean bad enough that I'm scared to let a family member ride along with me. So in this episode we're going to take care of all that. I've got new tie rods, new steering damper, new steering box. Hey, we're even going to do some welding. So let's head into the garage and get working. Okay, to the best of my understanding, before I get to the tie rods and the steering damper, I'm going to have to take the fuel tank out. And I know I'm going to have to take the fuel sending gauge out. This is just a cover, and I think it just pops out. All right, I've got these 4 bolts I got to get out. Let's see if we can just clip that off. I'm gonna lift this out. This fuel tank is pretty gross. There's paint peeling, there's rust. I don't like it, and I definitely want to do something about it before it goes back in the car. Do you remember that gas tank that came out of the Raven? It was really gross and greasy and peeling and nasty and looked like it had leprosy. I took it downtown to Mike's 805 powder coating, and I got it sandblasted. Now, the sage advice I received from Britt at Haptic Garage was give this a really good wash, give it 2 to 3 coats of Pour 15, then prime and top coat. Look out, Wolfsburg West, because I've got a fruit tree that can grow vintage Volkswagen parts. Okay, it's time to talk next steps. I've got to remove the tie rods, the steering damper, the steering box. I've got replacement tie rods, replacement steering damper. I've got replacement fuel breather hose and fuel lines, and I've got a replacement gas to tank body seal. I'm going to dismantle the steering box and inspect it. Fingers crossed it's serviceable. If not, I'll be ordering a new steering box. I have taken off the nuts on the inner and the outers of the tie rods, and now it's time to take off the steering damper. I've loosened up those nuts and that bolt pretty well, so it should just pull off here. Okay, I've got this nice tie rod separator from Harbor Freight. Bam. Excellent. I'm starting to build up some energy. Woo! Yeah. All right, one more pop goes the weasel. This is pretty fun. Pretty frightening whenever it pops fast, but that was anticlimactic. Look at that. Just came right out. What's left is the steering box. Got to get that out of there completely. I think there must be an easier way to get this out than the way that I got it out, but I got it out. Well, I couldn't resist cleaning all this up. It was really disgusting, and I got in here and cleaned all the rust and the paint and the grease and everything else off of the tunnel about to here, all the way down into the pan, and I cleaned all the way around that hole there where it's going to need welded. That's right, I'm welding next. Something about like that will be necessary to patch that hole. I've transferred it here. I'm going to go cut it out. I'm going to use a new tool for this. Pretty excited. This will be the first time. Cool, that works really well. I dig it. I'm going to lap weld here because I think the metal is really thin and there's a strong likelihood that I'm going to blow through it. Oh damn, that is ugly. I'm gonna have to grind it off and see what I gotta work with. As terrible as that was, after grinding, it's better. The advice I received from a prestigious YouTuber was to seam seal it and call it a day. Here we go. All right, well, that is as good as I can do. And maybe someday, if I remove the body from the chassis, I'll redo it all. But for now, it's better than what it was. Well, the seam sealer is dry, and it's time for the rust converter to be applied. All right, I got that purple rust converter all over it all. Chock full of purpley goodness. All right, it's the next day. Let's take a look and see how the rust converter has dried up. This looks pretty good. Down here, this is all nice and dry, and then it is ready for 415. Wonder if I just close it all up and open it again, if it'll be done. Now this will require some magic words, I believe. How about Abra, Cadabra, Musty One? Hey, it worked. There's 415 everywhere it needs to be. Awesome. So how did that steering box turn out? I disassembled it. I cleaned it up really well. I learned a whole lot about steering boxes and their inner workings from that disassembly, but I found a fair amount of damage to the bearing races on the worm gear. So what I did was buy a TRW Brazilian-made steering box. Some people seem to really like them. Other people complain about quality issues. I'm going to find out because I'm going to use it. I really must have pulled the old steering box out of here in a strange way. It was very difficult to get out. Here's the new steering box, and I've been kind of putting off putting it in for a while because I was worried about the process of installation. As you can see, here it is. Where I'm at now, I got the steering box connected to the shift column here. I got the pitman arm on. It all is moving pretty smoothly. I think I've done it correctly. The next thing on the list is the tie rods and the steering damper. Got the old ones here next to the new, and I've already taken care of measuring the old tie rod lengths and adjusting the new ones to match. Okay, put that side in. Swing it out a little bit. Get this bolt on the end here first. At least get it hand tight. Now for this one on the pitman arm. All right, let's get this short tie rod in. Get the steering damper on. We can test the whole system before we really tighten up all the bolts. Okay, I got the steering damper on here. Hand tightened. Tie rods are both on, hand tightened. I think to truly test it before I tighten things up, I'm going to have Clinton come out, turn the wheel for me. I got Clinton behind the wheel and he's turning it. To test this out, I've got all the nuts hand tightened. And Clinton, how's it feel?
It's so smooth. There's no play at all.
That's what I want to hear. So this is Randy, and he has been a force of support since the beginning of Backyard Kombi, right now helping me put the gas tank back in. Here's that fuel tank, sandblasted, rust converted, 415 primer and top coat. Randy's putting on the gasket sealer before we put on this fuel tank to body seal. Okay, we've got the padding on here. We're ready to put the fuel hose on the gas tank and put it all together.
Glad there's no gas in it.
Me too. Yay! That's about 1,000,000 times better than what it was. So the last little bit is putting this back on here, like that. Bam. Didn't remember that. Kept all the gas from the old tank. Okay, here we go. That is a world of difference. Oh my God. Zero play, super responsive. This thing drives like a new car. Time to get some gas in this thing. First fill up, since it's all been redone. For those of you on the East Coast, this is what I'm living with right now in California. What's really cool, I'm going down the road at 60 miles an hour right now. Nance off the wheel, going straight down the road.
Say hi, Oso!
I made it to Aaron Coulter's Motors. And here is Oso coming to meet me. Hey buddy, how you doing?